Do you ever just see a joke online and think, yeah, that's kind of clever, but then you just keep seeing it? And then you can't get it out of your head. Why can't you stop thinking about it? It's just a stupid meme. Or is it? Let's do this. Okay, Internet. Today I want to dissect the meme of King of the Hill being a slice of life anime. You get it, it's in the name of the video. So if I'm going to pick apart and ruin a fun little joke, I do have to begin by defining the individual elements at play. Let's begin by talking about what is King of the Hill. Do we really need to put it on screen? I mean, I said it. Anyways. Originally running from 1997 to 2010, King of the Hill is an animated sitcom created by Mike Judge and Greg Daniels. The series follows the Hill family and their neighbors living in Arlen, Texas. Some people have called it a spin-off of Judge's other series, Beavis and Butthead, because the character Tom Anderson, who not only looks very similar to Hank, but is voiced almost identically by Judge, who also voices Hank. I bring this up because I think it's funny how Judge pulled so much inspiration from this old character when crafting Hank, but they are very different, especially as Hank's character is expanded on over the 13 seasons. Also funny because Daria is a full-on spin-off of Beavis and Butthead that came out that same year, but I don't want to dig too deep on that. I just need to say it so my brain could move on. It's Helen here. King of the Hill, especially in the early days, was a much more down-to-earth show than Family Guy that premiered a year later and felt more akin to early seasons of The Simpsons. Emphasis on early Simpsons because even the most outlandish episodes of King of the Hill doesn't go to the heights that The Simpsons will go to in terms of big events. The groundedness is probably where we get the meme in question for this video, so before we get too into that, let's talk about slice of life anime. Wow, word for it, okay. Anime, animation that comes from Japan, tends to lean to the more fantastical, more often than not, so slice of life feels like a statement. Series like Toradora or the film Whisper of the Heart are prime examples, taking place in a recognizable, relatable world. Slice of life anime has a major focus on characters, their feelings, and relationships. Often these series will blend with comedy or drama, but they aren't the focus. Slice of life will often downplay the overly dramatic or comedic moments when the opportunity arises if doing them does not help the overall arc of the characters. Also, it is worth saying, discussing drama and comedy as genres is kind of a weird way to look at media, but it's what we're used to. They are more like elements you add to the story as needed, and viewing them as genres is how you get things like the debate on if shows like The Bear should be nominated for awards in the comedy categories when it is also a very heavy show. And this isn't helped by the fact that with TV we look at comedies as half-hour shows and dramas as hour-longs. That's how we get shows like The Bear sweeping comedy categories, while an equally or funnier show like Succession ran against dramas. But back to slice of life anime. It is a hard category to define because it can lean in so many directions tonally. Hell, I mentioned it being a grounded genre, but there are still shows and movies that will have fantastical elements to them and be considered slice of life. Their fantastical elements are just less of the focus, like comedic or dramatic beats, and are used as a tool to tell the overall story and convey the character's feelings. So with all that said, we can now tackle the point at hand. Get ready, title card. With our two major elements defined, we can now discuss No, that's way off. We're doing if King of the Hill is slice of life anime. You should put something about that on screen. It's okay. It's okay. It's cool. No problem. Like I said, slice of life as a genre can be both dramatic or comedic, but isn't really focused on being either. So you'd think that an animated sitcom wouldn't really fit. A sitcom, after all, is short for situational comedy, and obviously is mainly trying to be a funny show. But that's not necessarily true as a descriptor for King of the Hill. While yes, it is a comedy, a damn good one, it's built differently than its peers. The Simpsons, the main companion to King of the Hill, approaches its episodes much differently. During its golden age, The Simpsons would take a classic sitcom premise, like Homer starting his own business, and hiding it beyond the scope of a live-action sitcom. Like in Mr. Plow, where the climax of the story is Homer using his plow to go up a mountain to save Barney. Or in Bart the Daredevil, where Bart tries to do exciting stunts and ends up with the iconic scene of Homer falling down Springfield Gorge. This opened the door for shows like Family Guy, who took sitcom tropes and elevated them to even higher extremes, like helicopter crashes and chicken fights being the type of gag that they don't even build episodes around, they're just in it. Compare that to something like the King of the Hill episode, Westy Side Story. This is the one where the Souphanousinphone family moves in next door. The entire episode is built more on challenging Hank and the gang's ignorance towards other cultures, but never elevating it to extremes. Hell, the episode that came right before that is all about Hank being constipated for a while. No huge gags or big messes in the climax, just a man not pooping. And it's a great episode. These more subtle stories are a lot more grounded and lend themselves to more subtle, character-driven humor. Because of that, a lot of people my age who watched the show at the same time as shows like The Simpsons wouldn't think King of the Hill was as funny, but then revisit it as we got older and find a myriad of great jokes that we missed when we were kids. And I don't mean that like how adult humor gets slipped into kids' media for the parents watching along. I mean we just didn't understand how out of pocket it was for Nancy to mention Hank's constipation on a news broadcast. Even the show's more overt gags, like Dale's pocket sand, are different than how other animated sitcoms of the era would have done it. Something like that in a Family Guy episode would have been the opening joke that would lead to a chase scene, with heightened gags building off of each other as it goes, but here it's a quirky thing a weirdo character does in the heat of the moment. Dale is such a great example of the show's slice of life approach. He is by far the broadest character of the main cast, but even his stories are about running his struggling business and his wife's infidelity. All in all, King of the Hill is a lot more of a slice of life show, especially when compared to its peers. A point I could have made much more quickly if I had just shown this shot from the wiki where slice of life is listed as one of its genres. But that doesn't really answer the question at hand, because the meme calls it a slice of life anime, so we have to ask, is King of the Hill anime? No. Anime, as we all know, is animation from Japan, and while people sometimes discuss it as if it is a genre, it is really a medium. Series, films, OVAs, all kinds of formats all fall under the term of anime. There is a debate on certain American productions being considered anime, most notably Avatar: The Last Airbender. The action and style of the show, along with the world building, take heavy influence from Asian media and cultures. I know growing up, I and a lot of other people my age didn't really look at Avatar as something different than your Dragon Balls or Narutos. These were early internet days and we were kids. Sue me. Don't sue me, please. All this to say, there are discussions about Western animations falling under the umbrella of anime, but King of the Hill doesn't really qualify. You could also argue that some animation projects, in particular TV shows, outsource the work of the actual animating to other countries, including ones in Asia. I don't see Japan brought up as a country that gets that kind of work, so that kind of defeats the argument if true. I usually hear the work going more to places like Korea. But even if we use that as a basis, the key creatives of King of the Hill were all based in the US, and I couldn't even find online if they did export animation abroad. So, there we go. At the end of the day, while we can say King of the Hill is slice of life, we can't call it anime. Or can we? Fuck you! While working on this video, I've been reading a few articles, specifically one from Kotaku and another from TechTarget, both I'll link below, that reference how in Japan, anime is just a shorthanded version of animation, and that they use that for any form of animation, not just the ones they produce. And that makes King of the Hill anime, meaning yes, the tweets are true. King of the Hill is a slice of life anime.
That boy ain't right.
And there we have it. What was meant to be a silly little video has proven a copy-pasta meme to be true. Not that this makes this video any less silly, or to say that I'm the first to come up with this. I'm sure there's a Reddit thread about it somewhere. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, have a good one.